Hey everybody, and welcome to Raw Online Report. Today's guest, I've known this woman many years. She's one of the few I can say has been part of this industry even longer than I have. Please welcome Michelle Brent. How are you, Michelle?
Hi, Ron. Oh, great, great. Yeah, I'm still hanging in there. I tell you, I'm 65 years young. I think I'm one of the oldest competitors or just people in the sport who I'm sure there's
Well, I
older.
think, let's see, you might have a record. What year was your first competition?
My first competition, Ron, was actually 1985, but my official MPC show was 1986, the next year.
Let's
So
say,
it was,
I'm going to say
what was it
85.
called? It was called the San Jose Super Bowl. Oh gosh darn it, no. Paul Love. Paul Love was the promoter.
Yeah, Paul
Remember
Love.
Paul? I mean, oh my
Paul Love, yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, Flex Wheeler was married to one of his daughters for a while,
Yeah,
Madeline.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my history. I mean, it's like crazy. Because I'm from Northern California, so I was a Cali gal for most of my life. But that's where I started. It was 1986 San Jose Super Bowl. And then that actually officially started me to compete nationally because I had won that show in the overall to go to my first nationals. So I'm like, oh, okay, naive, like, oh, okay, let's do this.
Yeah. Well, let's
And that was my very first nationals, man. It was 1986.
Oh, in 1986. I can't even
Yeah,
remember. Who won the overall? Do you even remember?
that was Kathy Paleo. Remember,
Kathy
she was
Kelly.
married to he was a psychologist or something. Robert was his
Yeah.
name. Now she
Yeah.
goes by Tripoli, Kathy
Okay.
Tripoli.
Wow.
Yeah,
Psychology. Yeah.
she was really good at, but they
You,
were
you
all
know
good in
why?
it.
You know why I know Kathy? Oddly enough, the very first magazine I ever got was in the mail because I'd sent in a thing from a Weeder weight gainer. She was on the cover of Flex magazine in
Hey,
1987. Back
okay,
when female bodybuilders used to be on bodybuilding covers back in those days.
right, right.
Kathy
Well,
Kelly.
it's funny because the first cover I saw was Flex magazine. And it was in '85. It was May Mollica
Oh,
and Diana Dennis. Mollica, I think she did work for Flex or something, but
yes.
Diana Dennis, and it was like, holy crap, look at this woman. And she was just, amazing. And I had a dance background. So when I first saw that on TV, you're talking, I'm sitting there, watching this, I think it was on ESPN at the time.
That was.
And I see Diana Dennis rolling onto the stage. And I'm like, what the heck? And it was just, yeah. So it hooked me from there. I mean, my official magazine was, Flex, like, they're still in circulation, right?
Oh no, they're long gone. Yeah, they're gone.
Are they?
There's only
I,
one paper printed magazine left. It's Muscular Development.
really? Well, there you go.
It's an
How
older
about
issue, but
that?
yeah, we're the last ones. This is
You
this is
got to
from
send me one. You
like a
got to
year
send
ago.
me one. Oh my God.
So,
That's
but
crazy.
I've never heard your whole story. So you obviously now gyms are everywhere. Women are all over the packed in gyms.
Whew,
But we're going back to a time in the earlier '80s when it was not
crazy.
there were
Yeah.
not a
People
ton of
don't
women
really know.
working out. How did you start training? How did you get into lifting?
Yeah, well, it's crazy because people really don't know my history. I mean, I kind of barely know Mannion now, but and the higher ups or whatever, and Gary and I were, could say he's a friend now because we're here. We've been running shows with them with Prince Bling. But anyway, so it was crazy. I just was always had an athletic background. Uh, Went to college, was going to be a phys ed major. Didn't really finish, but I was like, okay, well, I had that background in sports. And after college, I'm like, okay, what do we do next? What do we do next? So literally, it was my first marriage when I was married back then in 1985, 86, and I saw it on TV. And it was the Nationals, I believe it was, and it was with Corey. Corey, I think, won her first show, and I knew it was Muscular. I knew, I had that background, and I thought, golly, this is kind of cool. But I thought, how do I get into this? So there was this couple at the time. The town was called Salinas, California, and I used to work for this cookie factory, this like kind of like Mrs. Fields. And there was this guy, and he was Muscular. He would once a month he would come and like get a cookie, and I saw he was Muscular, and I didn't say anything. He kind of get like look at me, and then ironically there was a gal that worked with me there, and she wanted to go to this gym which was attached to the mall that this cookie shop was in. And sure enough, he was there, and him and his wife. So that was the time. Remember, Ron, when they had couples, and so they were the bomb.
Mixed pairs, yeah.
Yeah, mixed pairs, and they were the bomb at the time. And it was Tom and Sally Sims, their names were. And they did notice me, once I joined, and they said, "Oh, you're muscular. You could maybe, do this, And I'm like, really?" So I had met my first husband at the gym, ironically. So we kind of, I didn't like him at first. It was like, okay, well, they all three of them were like really interested in, what with me to compete. And I go, really? What's this compete? Especially back then, Ron, you're talking 1986, and they said, yeah, there's a show, in 3 weeks, just pedal, and don't really eat too much. They didn't have any diet,
not much of a prep.
Like, whatever, okay. So I did it, and it was called the Santa Cruz Classic, and it wasn't an NPC rated show, but it was very popular. I don't think they wanted to pay the sanction fee because there was a lot of competitors. So I'm there and I'm naively, do it. And I didn't even make the top 5. But when I did the performance part, the rest was history. Because I have with my dance background, I was like, wow, this is fun, So, that naive thing, no coaches, no, they barely told me what to do, She's, it was like, oh, eat carrots and eat egg whites and whatever. I go, oh, what? Okay.
I'm just curious, Michelle. So this is before, you were part of the scene and knew everybody, knew what coaches and all that. Were you training? Were you training in a similar? Yeah. How did you even know what you're supposed to do in the gym back then?
That's what I'm saying. Well, because of my athletic background, and we did, and I did like 4 sports in high school. We did have a little bit. You're talking like the mid 70s. I graduated in 75, so they did have a little weight room. So I knew a little bit about weight training because of my athletic background. And then in college we had a little because of the classes I took, sports medicine, whatever they physiology, whatever, learning about the body. So they I had a gym there. So that was about it. And so when I met this couple, like I said, and then my husband at the time, they they kind of showed me like body part separation and that was the time with the leader principles and the mensers, which really the mensers were the ones that came up with those principles, right?
Well, I think those principles came from a lot of different people.
Yeah, but it ended up being Joe Weider's principles.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, well.
So, but yeah, it was crazy. So and then the rest is history. I loved it. I competed. Like I said, I qualified for my first nationals. You're talking once in 86, 30 women on stage in one class. And I didn't make the top 15, but what happened was there was 3 gals, me and these 2 others, and we're on stage and we're like, wow, what's this? Well, they were deciding who was going to be that 15th spot. And I didn't make it, but I enjoyed it. I watched the whole show. It didn't break me. I was like, okay, I'm coming back for more. It's like, let me ask you,
it's so hard to believe you didn't make top 15 at your first show. Looking back, do you have any pictures or video? What did you look like at your first show? How muscular were you?
I have pictures on my phone. I gotta send you. I got a history of pictures. I had a little bit less than, I had muscle of like when the Physique Girls first started in 2010. That's kind of, the muscle I had. Yeah. I always had a little bicep, my arms. I had a little bit of the leg. I just had the structure for it. It was crazy. And then I just kept on going. And then of course, building the muscle in time. But literally it took me, and people don't know this, I don't even know if you know it took me 25 years, 25 with only 3 years off to get my pro card. It was ironically 1987, the year after I started an interest. I got pregnant, so I had my son. I love my son. So I'm 35 years old now. And then 1995, I took off because I opened my own gym in California. So I actually was a gym owner at one time. And 2000, I took off because I had a hernia surgery. And then it still took me 12 more years because I ended up getting the pro card in 2012. It's great. It was so
First,
crazy.
I'm
I
gonna
would
say your
do,
first contest was '86, even though it wasn't, sanctuary. It was still '86 to 2012.
well, 86, yeah, no, because I did the San Jose. It was actually 85 when I did that show.
'85. So
Yeah.
that's even more time, isn't it?
Right,
I'm pretty
right.
bad
So
at math, but
yeah,
85.
in '86 when it was officially, NPC
Wow.
sanctioned shows, I did. But I mean, people, I don't even think
7 years.
I had count them, 6 second places at the North American alone.
Oh.
6. Then I finally get the win in 2010, but still no pro card because Monique Jones was the heavyweight, and I wasn't going to beat Monique.
You had to get the overall back then.
Yeah, and it's still, I think, I believe it still is for the women bodybuilders, but and it was competitive. I mean, you're talking once again. I mean, when I was in the midst of before even Iris had her card. Remember Heather Foster, Betty Paricio. We were all in the same lineup in 1996 USA. I was sitting there like, okay, I'm going to go heavyweight, right? Let me try something because I know I have my. Oh my God, it was crazy. It was the lineup of the century. I mean, and then Iris didn't even win it. It was Heather that won that year. So it's crazy. Yeah. What else is guys?
So that begs the question. It was people. There are so many pro cards now. It's not just that there's so many divisions, but there's so many different shows.
Right.
So many, like even the junior shows now, junior national, junior USA. They give out dozens of pro cards for like first place and second place for every division. And
hey, Ron, you need to go back and get your pro card now.
I need to go back in time is what I need to do. But yeah, so for someone that had to do so many shows and took you decades to turn pro,
decades.
You're still smiling. You're not bitter about it, obviously, but
there was times when, I mean, I have to admit a couple of times I lost it, but never on stage. I was always professional. Maybe once I did backstage, but everyone was already gone. Maybe there was a couple of people I go, I can't believe it. What do I have to do? So finally, someone's finally suggested, what you really do need to talk to to the judges, find out what you really really need. I mean, there's got to be something that they're just really dinging you on. So what was the year? It was a 19. One of the nationals, 90s, I want to say 98. I don't know. I can't remember. No, not 98. Anyway, so it was one of the ones where, Sandy, we got the longevity of Sandy, Williams. Is it Williams or Williamson?
Williamson, like Ted Williamson.
It used to be Rinaldi, remember? Sandy
for many years. Yeah. Then she married Ted. Yeah.
Right. And so she finally, and she was honest. She goes, well, Michelle, you're a little bit wide-waisted, not bad, but you need, the taper, the lats. You have the muscularity. You just need a little bit more shape here. And so she was really, at least I said, okay, now I know what to work on. But unfortunately, I've never had a very thick back. Back then, there wasn't where, once again, if I did have a coach, it would have been perfect because then I would have realized, what I really, really needed to work on. I didn't do too many squats. I was kind of a leery of squatting. So I was thinking if I did a little more squatting, how the weight and everything is it's a full body, exercise practically, as you know. Yeah, no, it was crazy. So at least I knew what to work on, but it was tough. Now it was getting to the point where now it's getting serious. I need to do this. And it wasn't like, oh, it was still fun, but in a sense, but it was okay. Now I really know what I need to do. But yeah, it's crazy. I've had top 5s and North Americans, Masters when Gary started the pro card in 2005, I believe it was the first year. And it was like, okay, I'm going to get it the Masters now. Okay, I'm a master. It started at 35. I still couldn't get it. People were coming out of the womb. I was like, I would maybe like second, third in my class, finally win again in the class. But when I get it was like, then North American was always my fallback show. And that's where, okay. And it was crazy. It was second. I'm like, what in the heck is going on?
So let me ask you, did you not have a coach all those years?
No.
Wow.
The only time I really had a coach was, let's see, in that mid 90s when I was building up to do the nationals, I had a fellow that was with a boyfriend at the time, and he finally knew, okay, this is what he knew the sport. So when now he was getting serious, this is what you need, So he was probably technically my first coach, because what happened was he knew what we needed to do. So 98, that was 98 and 92. Okay, 97, you were saying 98, we were together, and I come in third at the nationals. Okay, now we know, it's building up now. 99, second of the nationals. I'm like, yeah, okay, now I'm getting it. How you build up in the nationals back
which
then,
which is a pro card now, by the way. Second place at the nationals.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, now this is next year. And you know how it was. We didn't know who was showing. We didn't see pictures of ourselves. We were waiting for the magazines, to see our placing and our picture in the magazine.
Yeah.
So 2000 comes along. I have to laugh now. The fellow I was with, he couldn't make it. It was in New York. He couldn't make it. This is when I met Bill. Bill was there. He says, I remember you in 2000. Man, you were amazing. But he wasn't there. So I get there, having to make the weight class now, light heavyweight. Actually, it was still, I think, only middleweight. So I'm like, okay, we get there. I'm always at the cusp. I'm 3 pounds off. Okay. So now the gal that I knew at the time, God rest her soul, Denise Gerard, she was, a pro too. She was, helping me. We were going to do the diuretic. We knew what we were doing. So we have a friend that's in the heavyweight class. She's like, she's like, I don't know. I think she smoked the reefer. So she's like, oh no, so don't do the diuretic. No, don't do the diuretic. Oh, and Denise, get on the scale. Don't make the weight. I'm like, oh hell no. So the fellow, his name was Joe. He was coming, but he was on the plane. I'm like, what am I gonna do? So we're doing like the wrestling thing. We're spitting. We're doing the stairs. We're trying to. Denise, oh my god, it was a comedy of errors. Denise even went into the room to jerry rig the scale, right? For the next morning.
Yeah.
For the next morning. And some kid gets on the scale and goes, oh, I think this scale is off.
How off were you in the weight? I'm just curious.
I ended up being like a pound and a half, maybe about a pound and a half, because it was like 3 and I could not get that down. And we didn't do the diuretic. Yeah. So what happens was I end up having to go heavyweight. And that was my card. I'm pretty sure. But yet, Ron, remember when they had the 20% rule? They wanted us at 20% less muscle.
I thought it was 21.2. No, it was 20.
It was a 21. I don't know. It was crazy.
Yeah,
so
they put out
actually the years. So I'm thinking, I don't know, because I was pretty muscular. I don't know. Who knows?
Well, I need to explain to the viewers, because a lot of they're like, what the hell are they talking about? At one point, the IPB put out a memo to everybody saying, okay, women's bodybuilding is getting a lot of hand. We want you guys to come in 20% smaller and softer, right? Wasn't that it? Yeah.
It was bizarre. We're
tone it all down 20%.
It was crazy. Oh my God. So yeah, unfortunately I didn't make the class. Joe did come at the time. It was too late then. And that's when I met Bill. Bill, had come to, I didn't meet him, but he had come to that because he lived in New York at the time. And I was like, what do I have to do? So I took it with a grain of salt. I ended up coming in 6th. I didn't make the top 5, but once again, those years that was so competitive. What's her name? A little black pretty girl, Harris. What was her first name? Darn it.
Kim.
She was like in that top 5 with me. She was behind me like the year before and in 3rd. She ended up getting the card. She got my card.
I remember. Yeah.
It was like crazy. And then it still took me 12 more years to get people don't realize the craziness I've gone through. So, but I love it. I'm an athlete. I come back. I've loved, I don't get involved with all the craziness of other things that go on in the sport. I go home, do my thing, just come back. And then when I met Bill, actually my husband now of 19 years, he was in the sport and it was great because he understood it. So it's like, okay, and he was such my support system because we're still going to try to get this car. We'll get it. So, okay, now I'll tell you how I got it. 2011 comes around. I thought, okay, I got to go back to the nationals, the regular. Now I'm getting a little older, okay, and it's like, okay, I didn't look bad, but I think I ended up being a heavyweight, and I said, didn't, of course, didn't get it. So I'm like, okay, let's go to the universe. I did it once, and I know it used to be drug tested, but they weren't really testing anymore. Not that, it was like not having to worry about it. But I said, you know what? Let's not do anything. Let's just cut me a little antibody, I want to be safe or whatever. But they weren't testing anymore because it wasn't even called the Teen Universe anymore. So Steve had master's classes. So I said, okay, well, let's do the 45, the 35 and 40, 35 and over 45. There wasn't any 50 or so it's crazy. So I was probably the least look, of all my, my look that, I wasn't like, it was like half of what I really looked like, but still it was like, okay, I'm in my 50s, let's see what's going to go on. So they had the 35 and over and I came in third. So now here comes 45 and over, no one in my class, uncontested. And they were giving pro cards. And I go, uncontested. Oh my God. Okay. So I win, of course. No pro card was being, called. So in the 35 and over, I remember Gail Arbach, she was working with Dave, for Dave as a writer at the time. And Dave's client too. So Dave, I guess I had heard that he went backstage and was like, blah, 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 Steve, how come Gail didn't get a pro card? Blah, 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 blah. And so then I see Steve and I go, here I'm the opposite. I'm like, Steve, I don't, it said on the flyer, we get our pro card, but I know I was uncontested, So he was on the phone at the time. This is great history. No one knows this. He was on the phone at the time. I'm not sure if he was on the phone with Mania. I don't know. So he goes, well, go get me the paperwork. Bill scurries to his, it's comical. He scurries to the room, like we're little newbies. Steve comes back to me, goes, Michelle, you got your pro card. I cry like, I went down on my knees, and I was like, oh, thank you. And that's how I got my pro card.
It's 2012, right?
2012.
Okay.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then, I was reading that once again. Now here I'm in my 50s. I'm such an athlete and a sport, I'm like, well, let's just go ahead and let's do Tampa Pro. I waited this long, right? So now I'm literally trying to have to build a little bit of muscle back, which, I knew it wasn't going to be time. I just wanted to, look decent, get on stage.
Oh, like 4 weeks? Would you have like a month or less?
Yeah. It was like, and I didn't look bad, but, it was like, okay, come on, the lineup at the Tampa Pro for the women, because it was always the show before the Olympia, and it was stacked all the time, 25 girls, 25. So, of course, I didn't make top 15, but I was there, damn it, and I did. It's 2012.
Yeah, I want to ask you, because, it takes perseverance to do this over any length of time anyway, but women's bodybuilding, you especially had to have an iron resolve because, man, can I say disrespect and unappreciated? Ms. Olympia was gone for a few years. There was no Ms. Olympia.
Was it. Yeah.
It was taken out of the Arnold years ago.
Right.
And I remember, you and I both remember going to shows back in the old days, and there was only two divisions. If you were a man, you were a male bodybuilder. If you were a woman, you were a female bodybuilder. There was no bikini.
Nothing. Nothing.
And the classes were stacked. I used to go to Ms. Olympia used to be held in a different city, different month from the Mr. Olympia, packed, sold out, tons of fans, and it went from that. What was it like for you to watch it sort of downslide for a few years? It looked like it was going to go, it was going away. Like there was going to be no women's bodybuilding. Right.
I was like, oh my God, I finally get my pro card. And it's like, I have to do a few shows. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? But I in the 2013, I worked with, I always forget how to pronounce his name. He's actually from Thackeray Mubarak. Yeah. And that was my biggest. I said, let's do this. I don't care what it takes. Let's, and being safe, of course, but I said, let's do, what I need to do. Let's train hard. Let's, and he was in New York. And we were in Connecticut at the time. And so I was able to see him personally once a week. And that was my biggest. It wasn't quite my hard. I was hard, but it wasn't refined yet with all that muscle. But I did it, and that was Toronto, and it was still stacked. I came in like 12th. I mean, it's like, at least I was in the top 15, Yeah. And then I did Chicago that same year, and I didn't soften it up. I changed things a little bit, and I end up with the top 10. And once again, only top 10 get to pose. It was like I squeaked that top 10. I was like, yeah. And then I said, you know what? I don't know if my body really wants to keep on doing, this craziness. So I still competed. I competed the next year, but I was like half of myself. I didn't want to continue with the PDs and doing all that crazy, too much. I mean, I'm transparent. I mean, I do what I need to do, as far as that goes, but just, it was too much. So 2017, I decided that was it. I did the Tampa Pro one more time. Ironically pulled a half tore a hamstring muscle from an old injury from high school. Flukily, when I was going to re-tan, and Bill would help me out of the little van because it was wet, and tore the hamstring. I'm like, oh hell, this is a sign. This is a sign. I went through that pre-judging with the torn hamstring, smile on my face, and CJ, our CJ, she was like there with her big bag. She had this, her big sports bag. She was trying to massage it out and ice pack it and everything. But I got through it, and even was able to do my routine, got through it. And I said, you know what? I told Bill, I think it's time to quit. I think it's finally time. So that was officially, I did retire. And that's when I technically started my business, Brent's Bling. I remember when I had the cookie business?
Of course. I used to love the cookies.
I still make them. People love them because I never went.
Was it Michelle's Muscle Morsels?
No, Magic Morsels.
Magic Morsels. Yeah.
And I never went corporate with it. So they were homey, and then everyone loved them because, I actually made them in my kitchen, and I got a little tired of that, but it was fun. And then there was getting very competitive with all these cookie companies and stuff, Lenny and Larry. And so I said in 2017, I've always was creative. And then I was like, okay, what could I do? So I had a friend that made a stretch band, and this is the stretch band style I have here. And one of them broke because we had bought them from her. And I go, wow. So I fixed it. And the rest is history. I started that business.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
How is that? So what's the website? We'll put it in the description. But is it?
Yeah. It's at Brent's Bling. And we have Michelle's Magic. It's brentsbling.com.
Yeah. And
my husband.
What kind of bling do you make? Show us a few.
What kind of bling do I make? Well, this is. See here. I'll show you real quick. It floats. So this is a dumbbell. I do mostly fitness stuff, but I do also women's, dainty things with like an evil eye. I started out with the here, which is an evil eye right here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
But this, I started out with the beaded stuff because I said, okay, this is fun. I got all the different precious stone stuff, and I said, let me put a dumbbell in there. Let me add a dumbbell. Let me add a little kettlebell. And so that's So mainly our stuff is fitness. Now we have the necklaces with
huge
more chains with really big dumbbells. Everything's stainless steel. I like to keep the price point, good. So it's affordable. We do all kinds of like sizes, and what I'll do is I'll get the chain and I'll make the size that you want. Okay. It's not like, okay, you pull it off my bust, in my booth, and I go, okay, well, if you need it, I have my kit there. And this is the specialty of what I do. I like that chain, or I like it. I'll do it right there. I actually did it like in Gary's shows at the North American and his big Masters. We had booth there, and I was all day long, just doing customizing. I also do the contest jewelry stuff for the women. I sell them the regular stuff, but I actually how the women have their suits all blinged out, and they customize the colors, the stones, suit makers. I'll get the stone colors, and I'll actually have real crystal stones that I do and put that exactly what the colors of the women's suit. So I'm trying to get that rolling because it's different, and it's made by me. Yeah, I do anklets for the women. I do all but it's fun. I should send you something.
Nice.
We have come here, Bill, for a second. Bring Bill over here for a second.
Brent's Bling. It's Bill Brent.
Brent, yeah, right. Everyone calls him Brent. I know. Everyone.
Pop your head down there, Bill, so we can see.
Everyone calls him Brent because
that's okay. As long as they remember Brent's Bling, they can call me Brent. They can call me Bill. you know, but it's my wife is very modest.
His stuff.
But I wear something different from the site every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Today is a
I do this kind of
paracord.
stuff.
A paracord dumbbell bracelet.
Yeah.
The red, white, and blue. Yesterday was black. We have feng shui bracelets for the for the Asian community as well.
We do everything.
Citrine. So there's a lot of different, but it's amazing how people wear their jewelry. Women, men, a lot of pros wear our jewelry and they wear it every day. The huge dumbbells. The
huge dumbbells, you know, the big guys.
The big guys are wearing this stuff day in, day out. They're wearing it with suits. They're wearing it with dress shirts. It's really been really nice.
He actually stopped with he just took time off from corporate man. Yeah, as you know, Ron, he's the corporate man and the fitness. I love it. They got the best of both worlds. But so last year is when he
She's
said,
a brain.
Yeah, but you were last year though. He goes, Michelle, you want to really make this a business? I go, oh hell no! I actually have my own gym, 1996. I don't know if you knew that too. I mean, I did it all. They call me the Martha Stewart of bodybuilding. So it's crazy. Man. So yeah, it was it's just been fun. It's a cool ride. He does all the business start. Our office is all his paperwork because he knows he's the business guy. He does all the taxes, stuff like that. And then I'm the creator. It's perfect team. And then I'm on my side. I got glue in my hair. You know, I'm doing.
He's got one of you has the left side of the brain. One has the right side of the brain. You get a whole brain.
Right.
What I want to ask you, Michelle, is so like we were talking about, women's bodybuilding was kind of in a decline in both popularity, in participation. And then along comes Jake Wood and Wings of Strength a few years back. And I think you can almost say single-handedly, this guy revitalized and brought back women's bodybuilding in the forefront, puts on these huge shows every summer in Phoenix, the Rising Phoenix.
It's crazy.
Giving away tricked out cars, trucks, big cash prizes, buys the Olympia, makes sure the Olympia gets
perfect timing.
And now he and his partner, Alina Popa, they're putting on the Masters Olympia. But first of all, let's talk about Jake for a second and Wings of Strength, because it must have been refreshing for you to see women's bodybuilding get that boost again that had been missing.
Well, okay, once again, I've been always like a competitor for so long, a business person, but I'm also a fan. So when he came, once again in the inception of him coming in 2015 after they took it out of the Olympia in 2014, and Iris, she knew it was going to happen. She quotes her retirement. Well, we knew, oh great, yeah, retire, because you knew it wasn't coming back. So that's all good. But anyway, so I was there in the inception 2015. I heard about him. He was married to Crystal at the time, and Crystal and the brother, he was a creative part. And I was there with Bill, and we paid our ticket, to go watch that first one. So I was there helping out whatever I could do. I said, let me, love to, I was doing the jewelry. I did, the colors of the jewelry, where the Wings of Strength with the reds and stuff. And yeah, so it was really wild. So that first one, like the beginning of women's bodybuilding, it was so damn cute. So they made this volcano, this paper mache volcano. It was cool. Now, could you imagine what we got now with him in the productions? Oh, yeah. This paper mache, and it was in Texas, in a hotel, I think. And Linda Murray, because he knew, perfect, person to get as a representative. So Linda Murray, oh my God, Linda Murray comes out of this volcano. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I was cracking up. I go, okay. And so, but you know what? He did it. And the next year they had that volcano, got a little better. They did it in Arizona. It was still one of the casinos, but it was a little bit better production. And each year they were there. And then they brought that Rising Phoenix, which was kind of took the place of Olympia at the time, and you had to win a show to qualify for it. Now that the Olympia, he brought the Olympia back, and that's why I came out of retirement. I figured, okay, well, I don't think, I don't know if I'll ever really get in there, but it's just a thought that I could do a show to try to qualify for the Olympia. And it was great because he started as an invite, because now he has Olympia back. And, we would talk with suggestions of what you should do. I mean, I know him very well. And I said, yeah, you need to bring him back to New York. That was always my bucket list show. And he did it. This man came out of literally nowhere, because we always had said we need one man or one person that has money to support us. All these guys, oh, we love you. Yeah, but you got the money here. Put your money up to keep us going. And those guys, as we know, they don't really care, care for the compete. They just love our muscle. But anyway, that's another subject we could broach at another time.
Yeah.
So God, amazing. And he just, at the beginning, they said, we don't really know anything about, how he is. He's so quiet. Know anything about bodybuilding. We're here to learn. That's when, the beginning. And then he knew, as he grew with it, then he got the people, Dan Solomon, like I said, Linda, the people who knew about the sport to literally teach him the protocols and whatnot of the sport, and here we are. And now he's got this Masters Olympia. And there's 2 times I tried to get into the Rising Phoenix, because what I was getting at was it started as an invite after the Olympia. So they said, okay, well, we'll keep the Rising Phoenix, but we'll do it as an invite in lieu of the International, because remember, the International was always an invite with the Arnold. And so I tried twice, and I knew they were looking for new talent or ladies that already had good records, so I said, well, let me try. And then I got shot down, the first time. I'm like, damn. I said, I know them all. God darn. I said, okay, I'll accept it. Yeah. So the second time, there was just a couple of years ago, Alina said there was a little extended for the deadline. So I said, well, let me try again. And then I didn't get it. And I said, okay, I understand. Okay, I don't have a huge record, as a pro, and but I figured, I've been around for so long. What a novelty I would be, on stage. So anyway, here comes the Masters Olympia. I'm like, finally, let's see if I could finally get invited to this darn thing, because I figured this is my niche. Okay, as you just explained for the last hour and a half here, my whole history, my love for the sport, my dedication to the NPC, and just, I'm unique.
I mean, you said it real quickly in the beginning. I don't think everyone caught it. 65 years old,
65.
Still super lean, super muscular, training hard.
With his rod.
Look at that. I mean, come on. How many women forget about the age? How many women ever could look like that or ever would look like that?
So I know, and I don't take it for granted. I just, we got another month to wait. It's killing me, but I'm like, I've got to be on that list. I just have to be. So it was perfect. And then, that'll be it. I think 65, the muscles, I've never torn a muscle, never broken a bone, never had metabolic damage in 6 years. But my body is starting to wear. It's the wear and tear, the wrist, but never torn or broken anything in all these years. But my body's telling me, it's time. So this would be perfect timing if I could get this championship and be done. Finally. And everyone goes, oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Bodybuilders never retire. That's true. They just go away for a little while, then they come back.
They go away.
But
well, I did, and I came back.
I got to back up a second, because I'm 53 and I'm a wreck. I need a new shoulder. There's a lot of things I can't do, like overhead presses with dumbbell. I can't really squat. I can't deadlift. Are you still able to do everything, or are there exercises you haven't been able to do?
Pretty much. But I know, because I'm smart in my training. This is why I've never have gotten an injury or anything. I know my limitations. Like, I won't ever, do free squatting. But there's so many different machines now. They have that pendulum squat. I do more pressing. Believe it or not, Bill is amazing. He'll get up, boom, go to the gym. We have such a nice, after COVID, we have such a nice little home gym. I mean, it's beautiful. And it's only in a 15 by 15 garage. Yeah. Beautiful universal piece from Hoist. And it's a 4-stack piece. So it does everything. And I got, all the other little attachments. I got my cardio in there. I don't have to put makeup on. I go down in my garage.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so I've been very blessed that I've never, so at 65, darn it, I would truly, because how they started at 40, now 45, now it's 40, and now it's an Olympia qualifier. So I don't know how many are, that attracted to.
I didn't know they made an Olympia qualifier.
Yeah. Go to Masters Olympia official, and they made it an Olympia qualifier. I think they want to attract more. I think you know, I don't know what's going on with, you know, how many in per division, which is nice because it's 10 divisions. And it's so nice that he's doing this because it was, you know, how it's just the men. And, you know, they were trying to get like the Ferrignos out of retirement. So I was very happy that he did that because it's truly a new era. Because there's so many masters, and it's not like it's just the men like getting Martinez back or you know or whatever, you know, just out of the blue, just say Gaspar, whatever. But it's everybody. So I don't know if you heard, and I'm transparent, and I'll say it, but that bodybuilding BS guy is BS, okay? Because he totally did that video. Disrespected the whole thing. He was just thinking narrow-mindedly that it's just the men. They want to get all these men, and he's worried that they're going to get hurt, and blah, 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 blah. It's no, we have Gary Udit, amazing man, that he had all these masters, you know, shows to bring us in as pros, and we are legit. We're legit, okay? Every division. I mean, he's even having wellness, so it's, once again, I'll harp on it. It's a whole new era. It's not just bringing them in and saying, you know, being excited that, you know, we have this Masters Olympia. We have a true Masters Olympia. It's every division. It's going to be in Romania. People like really leery about that. But I'm like, you know what? The crowd out there is amazing. They have fans that are like crazy. You know, probably have to pay our own way, but I don't care. I just want to get there.
Let me ask you this. I know you want to be in the show. Have you put in your application yet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In January. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it.
In your wish list, because, you know, you never got to stay on the Olympia stage, and there theoretically should be some Olympia competitors up there with you. Who would you like the honor of standing next to? A wish list. Maybe they have no interest in doing it.
Okay, well,
who would you love to compete against?
It's rumor, and I don't think she would do it. I would think she'd go back to do the Open Olympia, is Iris Kyle, but I don't think so. I think she'd have too much pride. If she's going to come back, I think she would do the Olympia. Right. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. There's a few ladies. Irene Anderson was thinking about it. You know, she had built herself up. You know, and then Hella, because I'm very, very, very good friends with Hella. To be, you know, I actually do her jewelry for her suits with her suits, but they busted my chops. They go, oh yeah, I think Hella and Irene, I think my coach, who is Gina Caballero, by the way, and I'll get back to her. So they're going to do it. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. That's good. Yeah. But I'm thinking, okay, as these higher pros think they're going to do it, I'm going to go more down the list. But I'm like, no, you know, don't think that, you know.
But even wouldn't you rather compete against a really great lineup, though?
Yes.
I wouldn't want to place well, and they'd say, well, who else was there? And you'd rattle off names, say, who's that? Who's that? I don't know.
Right. Like there's a few Europeans that have done very well. Her name's Italian, Silvia Mata. There's Virginia Sanchez from Spain. She's pretty good. Yeah. And a gal named from Switzerland, Jay Fuchs.
Oh, yeah, Fuchs.
Yeah. She made a comeback. She took some time off, did some movie or something, tried to place last year at the Romania and only came like third or fourth, so she didn't make that qualification. I think she's good. I mean, they're all very quality muscle. Yeah. So they're going to try to pull from Europe, of course. You know, it's going to be interesting. But the big
came, the one thing that I kind of thought was ironic was, well, they dropped it down to 40 they dropped down to 40 across the board. I'm not really sure why they
right.
I think it just made more sense to have it universal for everybody instead of only these 3 divisions, you have to be 45. But when they dropped down to 40, I'm thinking all the best female bodybuilders I know right now
are over 40.
They're all over 40, or at least I think they all are. If not,
if she would come out of retirement, she's only been retired a couple of years, is the gal that beat me for the overall of the North American is Monique Jones. And she's amazing. Yeah. I don't know. I think she's okay with, you know, being retired. I just try to pull names here. Very, very, very good poser. And I'm sure she may put hers as Janine Lankowski. She's always been up there with the dreads.
Oh, I know. She's a great poser.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a good lineup. I just want to be part of that damn lineup. Damn it!
So what's the date? When do they release the list? I can't remember. It was like
Oh
mid-April,
God,
right?
we're still waiting another month. April 10th is the cutoff, and then
24th or something, maybe.
April 24th. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that weekend, I'm like, oh boy.
That's when we're gonna know. I mean, that's gonna be a big day because
I
man,
mean, everyone's like, "Oh, you God, Michelle, you guys," and you know what? I never, with my history in this sport,
yeah.
but that would be truly. I mean, it's kind of cliche, but dream come true. I mean, it's just been so many years, and just to go out with a bang like that would just, And I would stay in the sport, obviously. I mean, like I said, we have the jewelry business. Well, we do booths all the time. 4, 5, 6, 7, booths with some of the major shows. We were trying to do maybe the Olympia this year. We're not sure. We're not, we're still a little, company, but we got such cool stuff, man. I mean, I'm going to send you something. I don't know if you wear jewelry, but if you wear
this
anything,
is it. That's all the jewelry I wear right there.
right. Yeah. I'll send you something anyway, but it's like Louis Santos here, in our area. He helps and puts on his own shows now. I'm thinking maybe he might do it for the men.
Yeah,
He wears his all the time. We just, we gave it to him to help promote. And so some big guys, not pros yet, but I'm trying to get it to it, if I could get a couple, because it's durable. It's like stainless steel. It's like salt. And these dumbbells are like this. I mean, then I have the smaller, cuter ones for the women,
Yeah.
But
So the Olympia stage. I'm just curious. Do you know how many contests overall? All the contests. How many do you think you've done?
Oh my God, Ron. But you know what? It wasn't like I didn't, a lot. When I always qualify for nationals, I always would just do maybe one or two, or the fallback show, which was, and then when Masters Nationals became it, I would concentrate on just that. And then maybe the North American was always my fallback. God, it's got to be at least two or 300 shows. I did it.
Okay. Because I'm saying you've only had a couple years off.
I don't know.
Yeah, you've hardly taken time. 35. Yeah, do the math, guys.
I got my calculator here. I mean, let's be like Okay, so say 36. Say even it was just 2 shows a year. That's 72. But I've done more. So maybe 150 altogether. 120.
This would be the best thing to go out on the Olympia stage.
Oh my God.
It's really 38 years.
Yeah.
38 years, over 150 shows, maybe. This would be like the storybook ending to an amazing bodybuilding career.
I know.
Yeah, but you know what? It's such an example of what bodybuilding is all about, because not everyone can be that genetic freak that wins every damn show and goes second in their first Olympia and does all that. It's the people like you that keep this sport going, to come back year after year and improving and grinding away. A lot of people take a second or third place and like, that's it, they're done. Like,
I know, especially now with like you were saying, with all the new divisions, it's like, okay, now they even have like, so saturated. I mean, that's another subject we could broach. I don't know, take an hour to talk about it, but they're trying to bring down, these numbers. So what did they do? They took away the point system. Well, that's not going to do much. You have to take away, and they're not, because it's money, and I understand it's money. You got to take away all these shows. Like we have one here, the DC Pro, that have just bikini and men's physique, and you're qualified for the Olympia. I mean, it's like, go back to the point system. Have those smaller shows that only have 2. They get points. They don't get a qualified Olympia right away. And the bigger shows that have at least 4 or 5, 6, at least 4 or 5 divisions are involved. Those are the Olympia qualifiers. That's my take. I mean, that's my 2 cents.
I mean, I don't think it's hateful to say Olympia is an elite show and you shouldn't have 50, 60 people per division at the greatest show in the world. That's not very elite.
No, right, and that's been the buzz, And
how'd you qualify? Well, the Greater Upper Midwest Falls had a pro show attached to it, had bikini, and I won that. And I don't want to put anyone down, but it's not the same as Chicago Pro or New York Pro or Tampa Pro. Winning a show like that.
But I think it just makes sense. That's a resolve that what I was saying is the bigger shows like that, those are Olympia qualifiers. Now go back to the point system, and those smaller shows, they just get points, and then maybe the 3 down the line who has the highest points, with these smaller shows, then they get in. I mean, that's how I think you could bring down the numbers. You have, like I said, you have 50, what do we have, 53 states? And you have a show, say one show in each state, and that's 50 people that qualified for Olympia. So that's my resolve. I don't know. I mean, maybe we need a new committee. I don't know. I don't want to say anything.
Or there's actually been another suggestion, because everyone, we're just trying to. After the Olympia, everyone's like, this can't happen again.
It's crazy.
They had 400 people in the Olympia, 400.
It's crazy, yeah.
Someone said, why don't we just do like every other sport, like the Olympics, whatever? There's a cut day, like a preliminaries or a semifinals, and you get rid of half the people or more. Sorry, now the rest of you move on to the finals. And
right. Yeah. But I think, I think my suggestion is kind of common sense too. I mean, because you go, let's face it, okay? Once again, being transparent, the promoters, the IFBB, they're going to make money. They want money. It's a business. Like football's a business. They're big business.
100%.
And they're not going to get rid of those little shows because they get and I know I understand it's about money, but I think that's the resolve. Just those bigger shows, you get qualified. The smaller shows like that with only two, and it's always usually bikini and men's physique or classic now. Even classic have a lot. It's crazy.
They had 59, 61 had to drop out Logan, but there were 60 guys.
Yeah.
60. Geez.
Yeah. And it's always first and second, even. I don't know about qualifying. No, it's still an Olympic.
Still the winner.
Yeah. But that'll take the cake if they have first and second. Okay, you're Olympic qualifying for first and second.
Oof, no, too many people.
But I've seen it all. I always say, seen it all, Ron, and then something else comes along.
Yeah, that's good. Life keeps throwing surprises at us. But okay, well, Michelle, I'm wishing you the best of luck. I really hope you get accepted on that. I want to see you on that Masters Olympia stage. Giles from MD will probably be there. I'd love to go, but I think that we're going to send Giles because he's there in the UK.
Yeah,
we definitely want to cover it. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah,
I really want you up there. You've put in I know. Sentimental because I've seen you all these years, and I know you were doing it long before I even met you. You had already been putting in many years, and this is a hard sport, man. People that don't live this life and do the shows and compete, they don't know everything that goes into it. It's your whole life. It's 24/7.
It's your whole life. And like you, I've been married, 19 years to my beautiful husband, Bill. I even have I'm sitting on the end of my beautiful counter here that's in the kitchen. It's a huge island. On the very other end, there's a little bouquet of flowers Bill just got me the other day, so it's that support system, that's so, you have to have to, you just have to have everything when you're doing any sport, really. You have to have your life, going to the movies or whatever, playing with my cats. I have 3 cats that are my babies. I do have one son, I was saying earlier, I have a 35-year-old, but so I have a little of everything. I'm a mom, a business owner, wife, homemaker. I love my house. You could eat off the floor. I'm always cleaning.
I should have asked you this much earlier, but when you meet women of your age, how do they react to you? Because, I know 65 is not what it used to be across the board. People take a lot better care of themselves now than they certainly did when we were kids. Yeah, but still, you are not the average 65-year-old woman. So when you meet women, like you graduate, I don't know if you ever go to high school reunions or anything, but do they freak out like that you're still in this kind of shape?
I'll see someone like at a grocery store, and I usually stay covered up the most, but summer, I'll wear like a t-shirt like this. But I can actually, because I think it's the way my personality is, even before you even meet me, I'm approachable. So I've had older ladies, younger men, some kids, of course. Oh man, make me muscle. That actually, like, wow, you look great. How old? Do you mind how? So I always get if I can inspire one person a day, I don't care if it's an older woman, an older man, a young kid, but I get most of the time, people that are just amazed by it. So, and I amaze myself sometimes, like I said, the aches and pains are there. Got a bunch of battle scars all over my body. I'm the horse that you cannot put to pasture, damn it.
We grew up, you grew up a little earlier than me, but roughly the same era. I remember when I was a kid, 40-year-old people were old. They were like, that was over the hill. They were in physical decline. nobody worked out back then. Everybody smoked. Everybody drank. Oh man,
I
it was
know.
such a different world back
And
then.
then we started calling 40 the new 30, and now it's like the 50 was the new 40, and now it's the 60. I don't know what I am.
Everything's a new something. Yeah, but yeah,
I am. I have to pat myself. I am a bit of an oddity, though. Meaning, there's not too many. If I would be the oldest one on that stage, I would be the oldest one anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you were there at New York. I mean, I ended up coming, 8th out of 8. But hey, I was up there, and people were actually like, wow, because even Mannion was in the front row. And like I said, I don't know him after all these years too well. He knows me a little bit now. Isabel Terrell was sitting next to him.
Oh, Isabel, yeah.
And yeah. He's doing her thing. And so he goes, Isabel, that woman up there, that woman, how old is she? He goes, that's Michelle Brent. She's been around forever. She's 64 years old. He goes, wow. So, and I was on that, I got my bucket list show. I kicked the bucket on that one, but oh well.
Yeah. You know what? I came close to my pro card a few times. Had I got to the pro stage, I'm 100% aware I would have gotten my ass handed to me. But I would have been proud to stand up there just once. I would have gotten in fantastic condition.
Right. You always do.
Here on a pro, and I'd say, here I am on the pro stage at least once. I would have done it.
Yeah. It's crazy. I just never thought it was going to happen though. But and I'm like, oh God, this is. It's because it's such, as we were saying earlier, it is a hard sport. I mean, you don't make that much, you don't make any money. I mean, maybe a top few, but but I've always been an athlete, and this is what I love to do. So
what I always say, here's my $1 billion right here, right there.
Yeah, right here it is, right here, baby.
You can't buy this.
with Brent's bling right here.
It has to be earned. You can't buy this. It's a lot of work. So,
I know.
All right, so that's it. I'm going to close this out. Guys, brentsbling.com. Awesome jewelry.
It is Ron Harris, all capital. Ron Harris.
Okay. So you got Ron Harris, all capital letters, 10. So you get 10%. If you could put it on your link tree, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Send me
like I said, I know you don't wear jewelry, but I'll send you something anyway, for.
Yeah, I don't know where I'll put it. Maybe my ear or something.
Yeah.
The holes are still there.
You could put it. You could hang it in your backdrop there.
There you go. I'll find some. I'll find some use for it.
It's just a thought. I want to give you a piece. Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I'll send you a dumbbell. What the hell?
Because I am a dumbbell. All right, cool. So that's it. So guys, we're hoping to see this woman, Michelle Brent, on the Masters Olympia stage, the Masters Ms Olympia. She'll be the OG up there for sure. But man, it'll be a sight to see. I fingers crossed. I know. All that good stuff. So that's it. That's great. I want to remind everyone: subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, leave some comments. Yep. We appreciate it. And this has been Ron Line Report with the one and only Michelle Brent of Brent's Bling. See you next time. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.